Okay, so here's our second facilitator for today. Joy Anthony is a seasoned development professional with 12 years of experience in the development sector, specializing in community mobilization, capacity building, sensitization, and advocacy. She holds a degree and postgraduate diploma in biochemistry from Kaduna State University and is currently pursuing a master's in public health at the Ahmadu Bello University Zaria. She has managed and supported projects funded by the British Council, Malala Fund, MacArthur Foundation, European Union USAID, and the Global Partnership for Education, as well as several government interventions. Joy is a founding executive director of the Center for Inclusive and Sustainable Impact Initiative, an NGO dedicated to empowering men, women, youth for self-reliance and community development. She is also the Programs Director for the North Central Region and President of the Strategic Thinkers for Community Development Association. An alumni of the Yale Regional Leadership Center, Joy is a peace pioneer with Generations for Peace, former secretary of the Women, Peace and Security Network, and a fellow of Africa ChangeMakers, Africa Center for Leadership, Strategy and Development, and the PowerShift Africa Fellowship, driven by a commitment to address social injustice, illiteracy, girl-child education, and local wealth creation. Joy has led and served in over 10 associations. She is currently the administrative officer at Civil Society Action Coalition on Education for All, a coalition of over 350 organizations advocating for quality, inclusive, and sustainable education in Nigeria. So, everyone, please help me in welcoming our second facilitator in the person of Joy Anthony. Thank you. You have the floor.
Good evening, great leaders. Thank you, Amina, for my bio. I appreciate you for that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you once again to be on this platform. It's really nice to see us again. I want to appreciate every fellow that has been contributing and participating in this program. We believe as a result of this program, we will make great impact in our community because as PowerShift Fellow, we are youth that will take charge of our future. And that is why we are selected in this program. So can we go to the next slide, please? So my topic is changing the narratives. And my name is Joy Anthony. You can see the lady with the red gown raising her hands because she wants to change the narrative and as a member of PowerShift Africa. So next slide, please. Okay, today we're going to talk about learning outcomes is using storytelling to humanize issues, amplifying marginalized voices through media, and developing counter narratives to challenge stereotype. Next slide. So our course overview is to learn how storytelling and media can reshape public perception and drive and change. So I just want us to go into the next slide. Just hear somebody speak to us in the next slide. I believe the video, somebody speak to us. I guess you all know who this is. Okay, so I think his video is not playing, but this is our founding director, the executive director of PowerShift Africa, and in his book PowerShift, Williams Chukudi, a certified member of John Maxwell team, described Nonso Namani as a man which exhibits consistency and dedication in developing others. And he led this by creating the PowerShift Africa. And we are in the Cohort 2 now. I'm a member of the Cohort 1. And just like William said, he's someone who wants to see people grow. That is why we're selected to participate in this fellowship. So even as he speaks about the change process, it's very important for us to change, and it has to do with consistency. If you want, I think that is what he was trying to explain in this video, though I think we didn't hear what the video is. So please, next slide. So as a result of the work of Power Shift Africa, we're going to discuss our key focus area in Power Shift Africa in the next slide. But let's just give an introduction of our topic today. So changing the narrative is changing the prevailing norms, beliefs, and attitudes and sustaining the current trend. This is about shifting consciousness over a long term. So as if we want to see a change, it has to do with time, it has to do with what is really happening. So though a lot of things have happened, but with time, things begin to change. But you have to be conscious of what is really happened for us to see that something different is happening for what is has been done before. And with one of those things that is being used is technology, and technology is changing the ways we tell our story, and it creates wider reach and enhanced service delivery. The power of media provide a great intervention, reaching the targeted stakeholders because voices are amplified and actions are taken. So with technology, we have had the opportunity to share our story, what is happening, and try to reach a wider range of people, especially the stakeholders we want to talk to. So just like in a documentary now of a real life, it shows someone who wants to like share what is happening through a story. Thereby, it gives clear picture and understanding of the event, and also this also message is being passed to the masses. And this can be done through rallies, symposia, roadwork, and conferences. So in Power Shift Africa in 2022, 28 April, Power Shift Africa held a conference whereby we bring in different stakeholders to share what Power Shift Africa is. And this was in preparation of the election. So there were different stakeholders that were there. And in this workshop and conference, we're able to discuss mostly the focus of Power Shift Africa, which will go in the next slide, please. The next slide, please. Next slide. So in Power Shift Africa, this is just like our, can we say, is an anthem or something we should know at the tip of our hand. And we know that a lot of us in most of the presentation, this is always maybe spoken by most of the presenters, whereby we talk about the power shift and process of change, which has to do with a path to real change begins with these three fundamental elements. In Power Shift Africa, we believe in activism, we believe in engagement, we believe in political participation. And if you look at all these pictures, these are pictures from Power Shift Africa activities, whereby we joined in the rally during the NSAS protest. This is during the conference, we had a group photograph, and this is during the panel session during the conference of Power Shift, whereby we bring the stakeholders to discuss. And in activism, we talk about collaboration with other organizations, whereby grassroots movement comes together in order to confront a government, thereby amplifying our voice to ensure that the government listens to us. Then in engagement, we ensure that we focus on younger generation through programs, mentorship, just like we have now in the fellowship. In the fellowship is for us to speak on issues that concern youth, to discuss and do projects that we reach out to a wider audience and ensure that we speak to the issues in our community. That is why I know in our capstone project, it's always advisable that when you want to do your capstone, just think of what is happening in your community. What do you want to change in your community? That is the project we always advise in Power Shift that we should focus on. And I believe a lot of us, we have started our capstone project. So as Power Shift, we believe in engaging with the community, engaging with citizens, and these are what young people do. And lastly, when we talk about political participation, we also engage with stakeholders. Thereby, we look at our stakeholders in the community and in higher levels, whereby we ensure that we put to follow what they are doing and ensure they account for what the activity they do. We ask questions, we bring them together to discuss an issue that affects each and every one of us. So next slide, please. So now we in one of our objectives, we talked about storytelling to humanize issues. So I don't know if any of us has watched this movie, the trending movie by Tyler Perry, Straw. I think a lot of people that have watched this movie, I know a lot of people will say, I know maybe ladies also, a lot of people cried when we watched this movie. And this movie just talked about a lady who had challenges with having is a single mother, and she had a lot of challenges trying to see that how her life was dedicated to this child. And at the end of the day, I think she lost the baby, but to her, psychology was like the baby was still alive, you know. So looking at talking about the storytelling, maybe when the media tells a story, sometimes we can wonder why will a story be maybe be told and you begin to see yourself cry. You begin to wonder why is this you have this emotional feeling within you, and just like we know that emotion is the first judge in expressing our feeling, so you begin to feel maybe to cry, or you feel too bad, because these are the ways that stories are being told, and these are the ways whereby you begin to see it needs to move you to do a change, or to move you to want to do something different. Because when you see this story, what will I do as a result of this story? How will I now begin to change this thing that is happening? I think one of these, a lot of these movies are in Televera, Nollywood, Hollywood, YouTube, Netflix, Showmax. These are people that they can even use fictions to talk about what is really happened. At the end of the day, you begin to see yourself that no, this is something I need to do. I think we look at some of these things, and at the end of the day, we decide that okay, no, let's do something different and change the narrative of what is happening. So next slide, please.
That's this slide. Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
I don't know this video. I'm sure it's not going to play because I don't know since the other one doesn't play. And I just want to want us to listen to this speech. But I know a lot of us are listening to this speech. The speech that was presented by the former vice president, that is Professor Yemi Osibanjo. The former president, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida's book launch in Abuja. And I think this conversation brought a lot of people were making conversation, and I think there was a lot of secret that was revealed, which I think nobody may do anything about it. Like what really happened, some processes of okay, this person was a member of this was a senator, and it arrested this. So he gave a lot of instances of things that happened in the past, which a lot of us as young generation didn't even know. Like and it just takes me to remember that in our school, because I work in the education sector, history now is no more in our school, as children are not studying history. History is being removed. So we now discover that with this now, a lot of our children may not know what happened in the past, and this is really not it. I think as education stakeholders, it's something that we also were talking about in some years ago, that history should be brought back to school, because if our children does not know the history of Nigeria, a lot of things will go wrong. Because I think that is even something that is even affecting our education today. Because a child cannot tell you, some children may not know that Nigeria had independence 1960, because history is no more in school. That if a child needs to know what happened in 1960, there is need for history to be brought back to school. So in this presentation, I think during the speech, former president, vice president Osibanjo was talking about some of the things that have happened in the past, and it was really a nice speech. I think that speech he gave was something that really opened the eyes of any Nigerians to see what happened in the past and understand a lot of things. So let's go to the next slide. So now, as advocates, as fellow of Power Shift Africa, there's a lot of way we can amplify our voices. And as we believe, the voice of the masses is the voice of the people. So it's for us to speak, it's for us to engage and talk about what is really happening. We should not be silent. A lot of people in Nigeria, I think we're going to see a lot of youths in Nigeria that have made great things, have spoken up, have seen what is happening, have seen the marginalization of people, and has used media to speak about it. And media gave us a lot of story. If it's true, it is not true. Some of us did not know when it happened. The only thing we know is media brought something like that. And one of these is the Not Too Young to Run bill, which was a really great accomplishment for Nigeria. And Samson Itodo and his group Ayaga Africa in May 2026 started the Not Too Young to Run bill, whereby this bill was sponsored by Mr. Tony in the House of Senator Tony, Honorable Tony in the House of Representatives, and in the Senate is as Abdulaziz. Also, these are people that are sponsored the bill, but in the Young Too Young to Be, it give us the opportunity as young people to participate, whereby it alterates the section of the bill that section 65, 106, 103 of the Nigerian Constitution, whereby for the House of Rep, formally, you can only contest when you are 30 years. But with this not too young to run bill, you as 25 years of age, you can contest for the House of Representatives. And in the Senate and in the gubernatorial seats, formally, if you're 35, you can contest. But the not too young to run bill, it gives you the opportunity as 30 years old to also contest. Then at the office of the president, formally it was 40. But as a 30 years old, which I know a lot of us are here, it's just the good news to let you know that you can contest for president. It doesn't matter if you have the money or not, you can contest because you have Power Shift Africa, and each of us here, if you know you want to contest as Power Shift African fellow, we can be behind you, we can support you, because that is one thing that the not too young to run bill did. And when we go further, we still see somebody who this bill also supported, and the person was able to win a seat. So let's go to the next slide. So now, also changing the narrative, we also look at the counter narrative too. And this counter narrative has to do with stories that deal with experiences and perception of those who are historically oppressed, excluded, or silenced as a result of their work. And why challenging the narrative? Because marginalized voices need to be heard. So for us to challenge the narrative, that we make sure that those that are marginalized need to speak up. And this is what to promote justice and social justice and drive social change. And the way to do this is to do the extraordinary action. I think if just like with the last speaker just said, not protest, NSAS protest is your right. If the youth do not go for the NSAS protest, I think we'll still have police brutality. You will just be walking on the road and anybody will just tell you to just maybe park and they arrest you, you know. But I think for Nigerians youth to go for that NSAS protest was a great, I think that is what our government wants. Maybe when you go for rally, when you go for protest, I think that is what they listen. And for us to do that, that is, I think, the only way we can speak up as youth, because when they see us, the masses, they'll be afraid. Because I just discovered that as Nigeria, when you look at our seats are mostly occupied by the elderly, our fathers. I think they don't want to leave the seat for us. But I think things are changing. I think we are not too young to run bill, and each of us now speaking out, coming and creating change in Nigeria. I begin to see young people, and I believe in the next election, we have a lot of young people that will come out to vie for political position, and that is what we want to see. And one of the greatest things we also do is the use of hashtag, which we used to speak and also tag relevant authority that we want to speak to. I think that's what one of those things that really help. When you have something to say, you tag maybe a senator or even the president or a governor. You'll be heard because you speak and you're really letting the governor or the president to know this is what is happening, since you don't have the opportunity to see him one-on-one. So next slide. Okay, so I just let's teach a little bit to some Africans and countries that change the narrative. And in Senegal, they made history by letting the first youngest president, Bissaro and Diomaye and Faye, he was the first, and he was just 44 years old. I think that was a very great celebration for us, because as Africans, we celebrated the country, because the good thing for the country now to see the need for a youth to be the president. And also we also look at Ellen Johnson, who was also elected the first female president, in which she ruled from 2006 to 2018. And these are African countries that decides to change what is really happening. And in Nigeria, I know we can also do that. We can elect our first president, and if it can be a 40 years old, it can be you listening to me, because you have the passion and you believe you can do it. It can be you, even maybe as a female, you want to become, it can still be you. This is what you can do, but it has to do with working together, mobilizing youth, and doing the right thing. So next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, and we also have countries. Mauritius is a country, well, I think a lot of Nigerians go there for holiday and vacation. And one thing about this country is that they decided to change everything about the country. Thereby, they make the governance in the country they govern the country very well. They have strong democratic tradition, political stability, education, And this has also contributed to effective institution, transparency, and committing to the rule of law. And as a result of this change, a lot of people visit that country to learn what they've been doing. I think this is, they decide to change everything about. I think when you read about this country, even the education sector, a sector of the government, they decide to change it to make it different for what it is. And I think, I don't know if maybe somebody can just maybe identify this something. Let me just say one thing you think about this president, the president of Burkina Faso. Maybe somebody can just say one thing about, about this president, because I know it's a president that has been trending for the past 2 years. He has been ruling. Just one thing, if anybody can just say one thing about this president that you know. I don't know if anybody can just, okay, Ajala, so you can just go.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Good evening, everyone. So one thing
Yes,
I
good
know
evening.
about President Ibrahim Traore is he's one of the youngest presidents in Africa, and also he's the man who is behind the creation of the United States of Africa, and has also built the current factory at Aeropeak in the region, in the African continent region currently. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Alo. Thank you very much. And this is a president. There's something unique about him. He decided to rule like the African way. He changed a lot of system. I think in the legal system, he decided to change the dressing of the lawyers. It's not the normal wig and all that. And security, I think that is one thing he took so personal. That I think if for example at the year he will rule, if there's not anything he do, is the security system of the country. That is one thing he did. I think there's a video. I think one of his visits was visit to Putin, and people were like, a president, like the African president, going to visit Putin and having like a relationship, a discussion with him on how to handle the security of his country. I think something also as Nigeria we also need to also leverage on and also learn from him, because this is a man that decided to change his country. He's a youth, a young youth, like each and every one of us, and these are people doing different things in their countries. So next slide, please. As we dive into other African countries, let's go to Nigeria. I know a lot of them, maybe this is the first time of seeing this lady, and she's a product of Not Too Young to Run bill, because this bill gave her the opportunity. Honorable Rukayat, she to get this bill, make her to become the symbol of hope. And she, at 26 years, she defied all odds and emerged as the representative of House, or the House rep of Nkwara State House of Assembly, representing Owode Oniru constituency. So Rukaya has been working in different sectors, had been participating in politics, but in the school, at her school level, and she had done a lot of activity in the community. But she decided to run. But I tell you, if the Not Too Young to Run bill was not there, she will not be able to contest, because she was still young. And we should remember that for you to contest in the House of Representatives, you have to be 30 years. That was in the Nigerian constitution. But I think with the Not Too Young to Run, she had the opportunity, and she benefited and became the representative of her of the Kwara State House of Assembly. And this is opportunity, and these are people now changing the narrative of politics in Nigeria. So let's go to the next also. The next slide, please. So we have Tunde Onakoya. So Tunde, as we all know, they call him the king of chess. So and as we know, Tunde, a lot of us know him as the founder and convener of chess in slums, and he looked at young children in slums, because he also grew up in slums, and he was able to defy all odds, and he became good, and he decided to go back and give back to the community. And we know him as someone who hold the world Guinness record for the longest marathon game. I think it's 64 hours, and a lot of us joined those times to support him. I think he did that twice. So and this is somebody that he was so interested in changing the narrative. But there's something that I want us to know. And Tunde is not the best chess player in Nigeria. The best number one chess player in Nigeria is Abdurrahman. Akitoye. He's the #1 in Nigeria. But why is it that Tunde decided to do something different? Because he decided to change the narrative. He looked at it that there is other ways to make these children go back to school and learn. So he went back to his community in Makoko. He works in Makoko, in Korodu, show these are what he does, to change the narrative. And ensure he does community service to children. And I think there's what the latest visit was. I think he took some children, and one of the girls was from Maiduguri in IDP camp. He took her from IDP, but she joined the team that went, I think, in US for a program, and she shared her story. And you decide it's not only picking children from Lagos, it's picking children all over Nigeria. I think he has 3 children that their mother is late, that stays with him, which is training them. So I think these are people doing different things in Nigeria. So next slide, please. Okay, I know this one is, everybody knows him, a very dark man. His name is Martin Vincent Otai. So as we know, they call him the controversial activist. And recently we know what he did during the killings in Benue. I think somebody, just like I also observed, he went there even before our president, and he's someone that speak up for the marginalized when things happen. There's something he did that also helped the business community. One thing I like, very dark man, is that he's not only, he works in every sector. And one thing, those working in business, I can remember a lot of people are complaining that they send money to China and they are being frauded. They are fraudulent agents, fraudulent vendors. So what he did is that he went to China himself to investigate. So this young man, and all these people I think I'm talking about, people that are less than 30 years doing all this. Moturayo, Tunde, they are all less than 30 years. If very dark man, I think he'll be 30 this year. So these are young people who are less than 30 years, doing different things in a different space. And they're changing the narrative in every aspect of their life, and where they see their gaps is, they ensure that they do something different and ensure injustice is being dimented on people, is being done properly. So I think let's go to the next slide. So I decided to put this picture and talk about Dr. Ayuba Gofwan. I met Dr. Ayuba Gofwan yesterday in one of the activity we had yesterday with National Commission of Senior Secondary Education. He's now the executive director of Disability Commission, National Commission of People with Disability. So he shared his story. I was so moved by his story. He's a man in wheelchair. He started school at 14 because he cannot go to school because the distance from his house to school. But there's something he always had this dream of becoming a lawyer. He said then his community doesn't have lights, no water. He crawls on the floor. His clothes is always dirty. But the thing is that how can he crawl for 10-15 kilometers to his school? Is very difficult. So the father said, just stay home. We know your younger ones to take care of you. Don't worry, if I die, your younger ones to be the one to continue taking care of you. But that was not what he wanted. His dream is to become something in life. And because of that, as he joined the school at 14, he decided that, okay, he wants to be a teacher, and later even go back to school to read law. That law, even after NC, he went back and become a lawyer. So, and with what is happening, he decided that, okay, he wants to do something, that thing that he missed when he was young. He decided to start an NGO, Beautiful Gates, whereby he provides aids for people affected by polio. There's a statement he said, polio does not take any part of your body, that polio takes your leg. And that is what polio did. It only took his leg, but that thing made him believe that if polio can take his leg, it will not take anything from him. He must achieve his dream. And that is what he strives to the extent that today he's the executive secretary of the National Commission for Persons with Disability. It means that you can do anything, no matter where you are, or no matter what you have, or no matter what is happening to you right now. Maybe you may be here and you think that maybe you are giving up. There's somebody that didn't go to school till he was 14 and becomes a lawyer to show you that you can do anything. The only thing is just put your heart to it. So next slide, please. So I just want to conclude with this. There are people waiting for leaders that will change the world. Nobody wants to sacrifice their time, money, or energy. Everyone is born with a unique gift, and you have to just discover it to make a change. Every day, make a difference in your life and reflect on the lives of others. Changing the narrative necessitates developing counter narrative to challenge stereotype, using storytelling to humanize issues and amplify marginalized voices through media. You can change the narrative, but you must first take a bold step. You can change anything. You can become the president, you can become the governor, but the only thing is that you have to discover that which you want to do different. So I think next one, the next slide. So I just have some quotes by great men. And Martin Luther King Jr. said, the strongest man is the man who can stand up for his rights and not hit back. We know what Martin Luther King Jr. did in order to give the blacks that opportunity in America. We also have our great Nelson Mandela. He said, it always seems impossible until it is done. And lastly, our executive director made a quote in his book, Power Shift. He said the End SARS protest has bettered another movement called the Governance, End Bad Governance. To most Nigeria, what is helping us from actualizing our potential as a country and realizing our dream as a people is bad governance. We recognize that the root of our discontentment is in Nigeria is political. So we as youth, let us just know that we can change anything. We have spoken to the government, we have gone to do rallies, we have gone. For now, the thing we need to do is action. I think it's more of action. It's more of let's do it. If you want to go for a position, go for it. If you require to join a political party to make a change, if they say let's go and join the political party before we can become a governor, let's join it, let's do it. Sometimes it's all about when we do the action, because maybe we have been doing protests, bad government protests, NSAS protests, and maybe we are not seeing results. We go on Twitter, we speak up. So now let's move and take our seat, because I think for us, we see our fathers taking over. If we're able to speak, listen to that speech by the former president, Vice President Yemi Osibanjo, you find out that it's our governors, our presidents, they were ruling in the 1940 something, 90, they are still coming back to still rule us. But as young people, we can change the narrative. The media tell us what happened, but now we can also change the narrative by speaking up, by going out to do what we need and we think what is right for us. So next slide, please. So I wanted us to have this interaction. I don't know if you give us maybe the opportunity, if you know any Nigeria changing the narrative and what he or she is doing, maybe after the class, we can just maybe talk about one person you know, or one person that inspire you, that is changing the narrative in Nigeria, and what that person is doing differently. We can talk about it maybe after the class, as we move to the next slide. So it's just the next slide is just for me to thank everyone for listening. These are my profile and some of my Twitter and social media handles. So I just want to appreciate us. Maybe as we discuss, we can just talk about maybe one Nigeria that inspire you, that you think you want to be like. I'll be above. So we can just talk about that even as we go further. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure speaking to each and every one of us and listening to me. Let's go and change the narrative in our community, in our school, in our business, in everything we do. Let's be different and be in Nigeria with a difference. And someone can speak to us, and tomorrow somebody can also talk about Anjola, somebody can talk about Tasu, somebody can talk about Shamshuddin as a member of Power Sheet Africa, which is making change in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. That was really great. Do we have questions for her? If we do, please let's ask our questions and always try to summarize your question before asking. Okay, if we don't have questions, we can go ahead and with the interactions. We are going to start our presentations by 8:30. So we can go ahead with the interactions. Hello, I hope you can hear me. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Amina, we can hear you.
Okay, okay. I said if we do have questions to ask, let's interact a bit regarding the question you asked. If anyone knows any Nigerian changing the narrative, you can go ahead and share because we are going to start our presentations, assignment presentation by 8:30.
Okay, like you mean like a Nigerian trying to change the narrative of Nigeria, or like what?
Okay, any Nigerian that you know is doing something different or something unique in Nigeria, something that has really made great impact in Nigeria. We have a lot of them, but I would prefer like a young person that you know. It can be somebody in your community that nobody has heard of, that you know that has been doing something different in Nigeria, but preferably a young person. You can talk about yourself if you believe you are doing something different, maybe because the media doesn't know about you, people are not speaking about you. You can talk about something you are doing differently and you believe you are different from everyone. And then we need to know about.
Okay, Suleiman Oasis hand is up.
Uh, all right. Thank you for the lectures, ma'am. I'm really inspired. So I have one question. Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Okay. For me, as someone representing fellow students, I see the challenges of sustaining movements like the bad governance. So my question is, what strategies will you recommend for young leaders like me to keep engagement alive without burning out old people? You get me?
Any more question? Okay. I think for now, the end bad government, I think after the rally, a lot of people are quiet. But there's need for continuous engagement and continuous awareness, continuous sensitization. I just want to ask, I don't know, maybe after the protest, have you ever maybe tweet and put the hashtag end bad government? Have you ever done something to still sustain the momentum of still advocating for good leadership? I think that is what we need to do. What is a strategy you need to take, even after the protest, even as you walk? I can remember when the Chibok girls were adopted and someone was, every day she was just talking about posting a picture of her counting the days, I think even up to, I think 1,000 days or something like that. But I think later when the discussion diminished, everybody now became quiet, you know. So but I believe if you can't do it always, you can do it maybe once every week or once every month. You talk about the bad government, put the hashtag, speak on the need for the right thing to be done. Things are getting worse. Who is tweeting about them? Who is tweeting about NSAS? Nobody's. It's still happening. These are things that still happen. The youth that are in the field. But I really, one thing we really appreciate is the work of Mr. Nosun Amani creating this platform, because this platform was bettered after the NSAS protest. It's as a result of the NSAS protest, this fellowship was the Partnership Africa fellowship was bettered. So we are like, what we do now is a continuation of the NSAS. But the end bar government can also continue if you continue to do engagement online. You cannot go to protest, but your engagement online can, and even sensitization, community awareness, town hall meeting, can still continue in order to continue raising awareness. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's appreciate her. Okay, thank you for the wonderful presentation.